The passengers on Flight 482 had no idea they were about to witness the moment that would send shockwaves through the nation. The airport was bustling as usual that bright morning, rolling suitcases, quick coffees, and polite announcements echoing through the terminal. But within the walls of Gate C-17, tension was brewing, and in just 7 minutes, one decision would bring an airline to its knees. It all began when Senator John Kennedy, known for his sharp wit and unapologetic opinions, boarded a domestic flight bound for Dallas. The cabin was filled with a mix of travelers, business people scrolling through emails, families settling in, and a crew trying to keep smiles plastered on faces after a long day. Among them was Samantha Lewis, a flight attendant known for her outspoken liberal views and fiery personality. For months, she had been active online, voicing frustrations about politics and inequality in the workplace. But no one could have predicted how those feelings would explode at 30,000 feet. As Kennedy found his seat in first class, quietly reading a folder of notes, a murmur ran through the cabin. Some passengers recognized him immediately, others only knew him as that senator who says what he thinks. Samantha did too, and her reaction was instant. She stiffened, her smile vanished, and she whispered something to her coworker before marching down the aisle. According to witnesses, Samantha approached the senator and demanded to see his boarding pass. When Kennedy calmly handed it over, she reportedly said, "I'm sorry, sir, but we can't have you on this flight. You'll need to deplane immediately." The cabin went silent. A few passengers gasped. Others began filming. Kennedy, visibly surprised but composed, asked why. Samantha's reply was short and cutting, "Because people like you make others unsafe." Security was called, and within minutes, Kennedy was escorted off the aircraft, not protesting, not shouting, just shaking his head. He later told reporters, "I've been insulted before, but this was something else. I just hope she finds peace in her heart." But what happened next would turn that quiet incident into a national earthquake. Just 7 minutes after Kennedy stepped off the plane, the airline's internal network went down. A complete systems failure halted all departures nationwide. Passengers were stranded, pilots grounded, and news alerts began flashing across every screen. Within hours, the company's stock began to plummet. By the end of the day, the airline's CEO issued a stunned statement, "We are facing an unprecedented operational crisis." Social media exploded. Hashtags like #JusticeForKennedy and #Airline Meltdown trended worldwide. Thousands of customers canceled bookings. Leaked reports soon revealed that the system's failure had been triggered by a cascade of maintenance oversights, problems that leadership had ignored for months. What seemed like a sudden collapse was, in truth, the breaking point of years of neglect. And yet, in the public eye, the collapse became inseparable from that one moment at the flight attendant's decision to kick out the senator. Some called it karma, others called it coincidence, but everyone agreed on one thing: it felt like poetic justice. Samantha, who had believed she was standing up for her values, found herself suspended amid public outrage. The airline scrambled to repair its image, offering apologies and promising reforms. Kennedy, meanwhile, released a statement that struck a tone of forgiveness: "We can disagree without destroying one another. What matters most is how we choose to respond when we're tested." Weeks later, the airline filed for bankruptcy. Thousands of employees lost their jobs, including Samantha. But in a twist of fate, she later reached out to Kennedy privately, seeking to apologize. He reportedly accepted, even helping her find work in a non-profit organization focused on conflict resolution. The story became a symbol of a larger truth, that one act of intolerance, no matter how small, can set off a chain of consequences far beyond what anyone expects. Yet it also showed that grace and forgiveness can turn even the ugliest moments into lessons of humanity. In the end, as the dust settled and the world moved on, one message remained crystal clear: anger can collapse institutions, but compassion can rebuild them. And for those who still remember the day Senator John Kennedy was kicked off that flight, it serves as a timeless reminder that what we do in moments of pride or rage can echo longer than we ever imagine.